Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this groundbreaking ceremony that we have here today. It's great to see progress continuing here in the Chair City. Today, we're here to break ground on our new water main transmission line project. And while that may not sound like something to celebrate for most people who don't know what a water transmission main is, it's something that's going to be huge for us here in the city of Gardner. A lot of people don't realize that the water treatment plant that we have at Crystal Lake is connected to the storage towers up on the top of Reservoir Hill through James Street. And the pipes that provide water from this treatment plant up to those provide water for the entire city. While we do have the Snake Pond well in South Gardner that helps supplement some of the water that's here, this is our main source of water. To put this into perspective, the pipes that come out of this treatment plant send about 1,500 gallons per minute of water from Crystal Lake up to those towers at the beginning of James Street, and then from those Reservoir Hill towers up to the elevated storage tank over on Route 140 at about 1,000 gallons per minute from there out. So the city's water source is heavily reliant on this transmission main pipe that we have here. The current pipe that's in the ground was installed in 1888, back just 20 years after the Civil War, and has been in service since then. The project that we're doing today is to replace that pipe and work with the secondary line that's there to make it a redundant system so that if anything ever happens in the future, the city still has a water source that we can rely on in getting that important service out to our residents in a productive manner to make sure that our residents have what they need to have their daily lives here in the community, our business owners, our restaurant owners, our people who live here, and so on and so forth. So I'd like to turn it next over to our state representative, John Zlotnick, and we'll talk about the project even further at the end. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning for the ceremonial groundbreaking, even though work in the ground has truly been broken and work is well underway on this very important project. Improving and updating the city's water and sewer system has been a big priority for both the mayor and myself. And like so many things, projects like this can really only get done when the city, the state, and the federal government cooperate, provide funding to make sure that projects as big as this can get done, because as the mayor said, these things are really crucial. Obviously, we need water every day for both our residents and businesses in the city, and making sure that that system is resilient, modern, and something that we can truly rely on is of the utmost priority for what we do in government. So it's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm proud to introduce Lizzie Kaczynskis, the president of the City Council.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a wonderful event here today to ensure that we have the infrastructure in place that our residents can benefit from for the future. And I want to thank the mayor and the representative, as well as our federal partners, for the funding for this project. It is critical and essential to everyone who lives in this community. As city councilors, we always have to look at city funding and how it's going to be allocated throughout the city. It's one of the main parts of our job here. And when we receive funding from other sources, from the state or the federal government in this case, for this essential part of our community, it really helps the investment that we put in locally for all of the different projects and things that we need here that are also essential to the community. So it all complements each other, and this is something, as the mayor had said, this has been a number of years in the making, and now that we have it, it can be there for all of these future generations as well, and it makes it so that a lot of the funding that we have for the city can go to other places, and we can also have a safe way for our water to be administered throughout the city. So I just want to thank them again for their partnership and for recognizing the need for this type of a thing and making it known to all of our partners in the federal government as well. And so moving forward, we're going to be able to have what we need here in the city, and I'm just really grateful for that funding, and again for today and all of the work that's being done on it. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you very much, Madam President.
Excellent. excuse me, I'm sorry. I also want to acknowledge my fellow city councilors here today, Calvin Brooks and Councilor Alec Durnalowitz. Thank you.
I'd also like to acknowledge some of the people we have here with us today. Our DPW Director, Dane Arnold, our City Engineer, Rob Oliver, and our DPW Business Manager, Chris Coughlin, who actually authored the grant application that got us the $1 million so that this project can happen. So thank you three very much. Helder from Aqualine, who is the contractor for this project, and Magnus Carlberg from the Gardner Redevelopment Authority and the Wachusett Business Incubator, Rebecca Moreau, and Mackenzie Fitzsimmons from the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce for also joining us here today. Thank you very much. This project here, just put in clearly, we said before, this was a grant application that got into the federal budget that was included for $1 million so that we could get this done today. I said earlier that this pipe sends about 1,500 gallons per minute up to the James Street storage towers. We have two 2 million gallon tanks at the top of James Street and then a 250,000 gallon elevated tank over at the beginning of Route 140 by the Pearl Street 140 intersection that's there. Those provide the majority of water to the city. Everything north of 140 is fed from the gravity system, and there's certain things that's done there through the elevated storage tanks, but the remainder of the city is done through those storage towers with the water that's provided right here from the transmission main that's going to be providing this water up to that. We as a city produce about 1.85 million gallons of water a day for our residents. That's used throughout the day just through our residents using their daily lives. So it's something that really is an essential part of our city's infrastructure here is the project that we're doing today. And we've already seen the return on that investment when we invest and update that infrastructure that's there. The past couple of years, the city spent about $15 million upgrading our other water mains throughout the city from making sure that they're up to date from the 1860s to the 1930s, and we're going to continue that progress moving forward. But just from those projects alone, we've already seen 80 million gallons of savings in water that was leaking out of the old pipes now back in the reservoir behind me. That's an equivalent about 40 days worth of water that we've now saved and put back into the system rather than having leak out of these old pipes. And that progress is just going to continue with things like we're doing today and what we'll be doing in the future as we continue to move Gardner forward. So thank you all very much for joining us here today. I'm looking forward to seeing this project done as we strengthen our water system, and now we've got some ground to break over here with us. So we'll get that underway. Thank you very much.